Let's go. This is radioonfire.com. Yours truly, Diamond K, in here alongside my father. How you doing, Dad?
Good.
You never saw that before, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of things going on in the news, in the world, in all of that. So I wanna dive right in. Tonight, Trump is going to take his case to build the wall to a prime time audience.
9 o'clock.
And I don't know. So with no breakthrough in sight, President Trump is going to attempt to convince people that we have a crisis going on.
Crisis on the wall.
Right?
The southern wall.
At the U.S.-Mexico border that requires a long, invulnerable wall that he's demanding before they end this partial shutdown. Now, hundreds and thousands of federal workers face a missed paycheck on this Friday if the shutdown drags into a third week. So, this is going to be his first Oval Office speech, which is surprising in itself. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be followed by a Thursday visit to the southern border, where he's going to try to keep making the case for this wall. So Sarah Huckabee Sanders tweeted that the visit is going to have him meet with those on the front lines of national security and the humanitarian crisis that is going on right now. So the administration is also at least floating the idea of Trump declaring a national emergency for him to move forward without Congress approving the $5.6 billion that he wants. This is the kind of stuff that the Republicans were complaining that President Obama did with the DACA situation. Mm-hmm. So, this move, I definitely don't think that he has the ability to do it, but he doesn't have the legal standing to make it stick. I mean, when the buildings fell, when the Twin Towers fell, people could see this happened. So we were more vulnerable for them going in and doing stuff because something happened. We saw a clear crisis, but there's no crisis here unless I'm missing something. What do you think?
Yeah, he's gonna pull all the strings he can to try to, as you say, convince the country that there's a crisis on the border. He seemingly he should have went to the southern border first before he gives his new conference to me. But he's going to give it today and try to convince those uneducated, because he said he loves the uneducated. So that's who he's going to be talking to, because the educated already understand what's going on.
Absolutely.
And the last time, I don't know the last time, but you know, Franklin Roosevelt implemented that same policy that he wants to implement when they did the internment for the Japanese, when they took the property and put them in internment camps.
But this was after Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
So I mean, so you had a situation that happened, and then he was reacting to that. There's no situation here.
Right.
There's no, there's no situation.
Right. Well, and the thing is, I'm saying too that Congress, I don't think would have went along with it back then anyway. But he single-handedly, just like this
You're
man.
talking about during the FDR.
Right, and as you said, you can see there was a crisis. Pearl Harbor has been bombed.
Right.
And so he's I got to do something. But this is and then I think he's going to tell another. He's going to be a prevaricator again and say that 4,000 terrorists have coming across the southern border like his girl did,
which is outrageous.
Right.
Which is outrageous, and it's simply not true.
Right.
There is no crisis at the border. There's no crisis there, and the fact that, like you said, the uneducated, these are the people that voted for him for the most part. And it's just it's shocking to me how foolish some people are. They're gonna stay on this boat until the water on the first level, all the levels are all done and all filled up, and they still gonna be trying to hold on to the railing of the boat that's completely gonna be sinking and filled with water.
But then also he said the other day that Mexico was going to pay for the wall, and
the other day,
through the savings that they're getting from.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, what you need to rob the American people for? He said we're making way more money than $5 billion that we were going to be losing. So then you got your money for the wall then.
But this is the thing, though. Okay, first, the wall costs more than the $5 billion.
Right.
This is just partial. This is supposed to be a partial payment.
Right.
That's first, and then second, even if that's the case, he doesn't. You don't dictate where that money goes. He doesn't control that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, in theory,
right.
And the stuff hasn't even been signed, or even
Right.
This is just if that. He's saying if they do this, then that. You know what I mean? It's too many things that are out of his control for him to even make this type of assertion anyway.
And he said that Mexico was going to bring all them pesos over here and pay for that wall. We want to see them pesos. You are the
you're supposed to be the deal maker.
The deal maker, and you can't even get some broke Mexicans to bring the pesos to pay for the wall.
Yeah, but he's not a deal maker.
He said he was.
You know what I mean? He's not a deal maker because I haven't seen him make any deals.
Yeah.
The only thing we've seen him do is completely go bankrupt.
Several times.
6-7 times.
Right.
And every time, Daddy bailed him out.
And listen, if I gave you $400 million, could you do it, D?
Yes.
Could you do it with $400 million?
Definitely.
400. That's almost $500 million.
That he completely squandered.
Yes.
And this is who's running the country.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And it's so funny because I hear so many people say, he's a businessman. This was early before he was elected. I mean, he's a businessman. We rather America's a business, and it's spitting some of his talking points out. And now they're saying something different, but some of them still hold on to that philosophy that he's a wheeler or dealer.
I'm trying to think. Was it Hoover? Who was it that was also a businessman? And just as we went bankrupt in this country, that brought the country down during the Great Depression.
Yes. Herbert Hoover.
Yeah. He was a businessman, and it was the same logic. And you can't run a country like a business.
It's totally different.
Nah, because the business is concerned about profits.
Right.
Okay. The president of the United States has to be concerned about the United States, the people who make up this country. This guy.
And sometimes humanitarian concerns will come before profit.
When
you're running a country.
Of course, it has to. And this guy is, he's inept. the people.
He said he's inept.
Yeah, and the people who voted for him are.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and right now the Republicans are trying to get this guy to open up for business. Let's close. I mean, think about what's being done. We're gonna close the country down and stop doing work because he said that Mexico's gonna pay for it, and he can't get Mexico to pay for it. So I'm gonna try to get you to pay for it. That's a con man. He done flipped the script. You got to flip it right back. He turned the page right back. Like,
you said Mexico.
Said they were going to pay for it.
And so his rebuttal is they are paying for it. They're going to pay for it with this new plan that hasn't been approved yet.
When that happens, then let's come back again and let's talk about it. We never even heard you ask Mexico to pay for it. When you went over there to Mexico when you were running for office, you said you didn't. That wasn't the time to ask them. You said they were the greatest people on the planet. They were one of the greatest. You didn't even ask them.
Right.
I don't even believe you ever asked them for any money. Let the American people hear you go and negotiate and ask for our money for the wall. That's how they need to talk to him.
He's not going to do that. He's scared to do that.
Yes.
He's scared to do that.
He's a chump. He's a chump at heart. And he knows he's a chump.
Yeah.
Chumps try to bully you right from the beginning, and he's a bully, and most bullies are chumps, and he's a chump. That's why his name is Trump. And if you think that he's not a chump, ask Putin if he's a chump.
He knows, definitely. He's completely chumped him.
He is a chump because he know how to jump. Okay, Putin know how to make him jump.
Definitely.
Trump,
definitely.
Jump. So so we need to say to him, let the American people see you take a just like you said you want to go to negotiate with in North Korea. You want to have all the news media. Let us go to Mexico and let me see you negotiate across from the table about why they gonna put a wall up. Mm-hmm. We can't let him off the hook like that. Mm-hmm. And Pelosi's gonna be talking today after the rebuttal. Yeah. They need to say, let us go to Mexico, like you said.
You know she ain't gonna say that. Well,
yeah,
she may say that.
But we have to tell them what to say because they don't know.
Yes.
Just like we had to put them in, they put the new people in the office. Just like that girl said, he got to go. They're gonna impeach him, and he needs to be because he ain't qualified.
He's definitely not qualified. And the next pivot that he's gonna try to do is building a wall is going to stop the opioid crisis. Mm. Mm. That's one of the most foolish things that I've heard. Mm-hmm. These synthetic drugs that are being made in a laboratory are predominantly being made in America. Mm-hmm. They're not coming over the border with synthetic drugs. No.
And it's the over prescribed medication that they're giving people.
Correct.
Doctors.
Yes.
Prescriptions.
Doctors in this country.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Get that filled. Yeah.
10 times.
And it's selling prescriptions and breaking in the pharmacies and that kind of stuff.
Ask Russ Limbaugh. He had a problem with them.
Definitely.
With those.
He still may.
Huh?
He still may have a problem.
Yeah.
Speaking of problems, some people have a problem with Rashida Tlaib's rough anti-Trump language. She is one of the new congresspeople, came in, Muslim, which upset some people. Now, I became aware of her on an article that I read during the campaign. You know where she's from?
Michigan.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I was looking like, wow, this would be amazing if this lady could win. And then I stopped following for a while because this is before she was even, she was one of many at this point.
Right.
Then when I picked it up again, she was one of two. I mean, one of one. Well,
right.
One of the, she was the other.
Right.
And I was shocked.
Yeah.
Then I really started paying attention, and she won. So hats off to her. So what she said that had people in such an uproar was so hypocritical because Trump talks reckless, profane, he lies multiple times. And they don't check him on that. They just, that's just him being him. Or,
Yes.
You know what I mean? But somebody else does the same thing, and they're disrespecting the office. It's horrible. How could they? You know what I mean? All this kind of stuff. And let's take a look and hear what has people in such an uproar.
Yeah.
We're going to go in there, we're going to impeach the mother.
To me, okay, so that's what's so upsetting. Those words right there. We're going to go in and we're going to impeach. Can I say this? Yeah. So she says that we're going to go in there and we're going to impeach the motherfucker.
I don't really like that kind of language, but more to the point, I disagree with what she said. It is too early to talk about that intelligently.
I'm not in the censorship business. I don't think that, I don't like that language. I wouldn't use that language, but I don't think it's anything worse than what the president has said.
Were you offended by that at all?
No, I was offended when he said where he grabs women at.
Yes. Now
I was offended
that was
by
very
that.
offensive.
But I wasn't offended by that.
And he's used that language.
Yes,
and worse,
right?
As you highlighted.
I was offended when he said on the stage, to American people, we got to get mean. We've been too nice to these people. That's what they said. We got to stop being mean. And we got to start hitting people. I want to hit him right in his eye. I want to hit him. We're going to beat him up.
I don't think he's ever hit anybody.
I don't either. I know he never won a fight. No, he can't beat nobody.
Yeah, he can't.
Can't beat nobody. He's a chump.
Yeah, he can't.
Name is
but
Trump.
unfortunately, I wish she hadn't done this. But she apologized today for causing a distraction.
Right. Not for what she said.
But not for what she said.
Right.
So just
because she said I ran on that.
But I think that she shouldn't apologize. I think the distraction is necessary.
I do too.
I think they're shining light on this hypocrisy
Right.
over and over again.
Exactly.
You got to keep shining light on it. So I don't think it's a distraction.
Right.
He's the distraction.
Right.
He's the distraction.
Right. I think that the distraction was correct because we need to have it focused where it should be. He needs to get out.
Right.
We're going to lose if you keep this man in.
Right.
You got a loser in the White House.
Which makes us losers by default.
Yes. And then the rest of the world, all they're going to say is, but you voted for him. You put him in office. He's you. And he's not me. He's not me. And the people of color, actually, are the ones who are the most vocal against this man because they can see what he is. Yeah. He's got the man, president of Turkey, saying, "Guy's a chump." He said he's gonna do one thing, now he's trying to do something else. The world sees him for what he is. Only white people, poor white people, just can't see it.
I think that they're gonna see it though, because if this shutdown continues, the food stamp program affects them more than it affects anybody.
That's true. More white people on food stamps than anybody else.
But on conservative outlets and conservative shows, they talk like black people are going to be affected by this food stamp that if it doesn't come out.
And that's why
there's no white food stamp, black food stamps.
Right.
It's one program.
Right.
And if anything, it could be called the white food stamp.
Right, and I think that's what we should start calling it, and directly, because we've always been nice and kind.
Yeah.
White people's food stamps are going to be affected. Then they're going to say, and then you bring in focus to that, which we should. It should be a distraction, right? White people are on food stamps more than anybody. They're more than Arabs, more than Hispanics, more than black people.
Right.
White people.
Right.
So they're the ones, and they are, and it's usually the majority of the ones who are uneducated, and those are the ones who voted for Trump. And that's
Yeah.
why the Republicans are trying to get this shutdown eliminated and close it off.
So you think that the Republicans want this shutdown over as well?
Yeah, they want it over with.
Why do they want this over?
Because they know, just as you just said, their people are going to start getting hungry.
And the people in Middle America.
Yeah, they're going to start
Right.
feeling it. Because he thinks, right, as you said, now he thinks that the Democrats are the basic ones that are feeling the shutdown right now.
Right.
And but as you said, the food stamps, yeah, his people on food
Yes.
stamps, your
Yes.
voters, and
His
then-
voters.
and those are the things that Pelosi and the
True.
people need to be articulating
Yeah.
the truth, and then not talking in real politicized language. You know, like, well, Trump is a recalcitrant.
We gotta respect the office.
Yes,
you know.
yeah. Don't use the
You
word
can
recalcitrant.
can you respect the office but disrespect him?
Can you respect the office and disrespect him?
While he's in the office.
I don't know because
Does the office of president give Trump a shield almost that he can throw stuff, but you can't really throw it
well,
back?
that's what he's trying to.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do. You know what I mean? By saying that he can't be arrested, he can't be impeached, he can't be, he can't be distracted because he's got a big job. He's got the biggest job in the country. And
They didn't act like the job was so big when President Obama had it. Wasn't so tough when President Obama had it.
And they were putting plenty of pressure on him.
Yeah,
and,
much more
yeah,
pressure.
and they think that this guy here is getting pressure. But the thing about him that differentiates with Obama is that he has that loyal base that will be there. Obama really didn't. They unfortunately, his base would go with the wind. We want
President Trump's base.
President
Obama's
Obama,
base.
yeah. Trump's base is staying pretty strong at 30%. They gonna stay there.
That's because the Democratic base is more free thinking. Why are we gonna do that? They're gonna question some things. His base are like robots or clones. You know what I mean? This is what we're gonna do. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. You know what I mean?
Whether it's good or bad, right
Yeah.
or wrong, good for the country. Because listen, remember Limbaugh and the president
Kennedy.
at the Senate, head of the Senate.
McConnell.
Yeah, McConnell said he want to make this man a one-term president.
Talking about President Obama.
Right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yes. And we want his policies
And
to
he
fail.
said it out loud.
Yeah, and we want his policies to fail. His policies failing is America failing. I mean,
That's obstruct. You want to talk about obstructing? That's obstructing.
yeah. So we're gonna do everything, whether it makes sense or not. What he wants to do, we're gonna object to it. That's stupid.
Well, here's the thing. They failed at that because he was not a one-term president.
Right.
And all of the obstructing that they did, ultimately, it hurt the people of the country.
Exactly. Good point.
That's who it hurt.
That's who it hurts.
But you didn't stop. You didn't stop President Obama from getting another term.
You're right. What you did hurt the people. It's just like two people, a husband and wife feuding in the household, about to get a divorce. The children are the ones that are gonna suffer.
Right. That's true. And he's up in 2020. McConnell.
And the majority of the Republicans in the Senate
I will be happy to see him go. I really will. And the thing about it is that he's in a weird position because the Trump base doesn't really like him. Yeah, he's in an awkward position. So now he's trying to, play the back a little bit. Maybe they'll forget, and he doesn't want to bring anything to the floor unless the president approves it first. He doesn't want to run afoul to them. He doesn't want to get primaried. He's worried about getting primaried. I still think at the end, Trump is loyal to no one. Include Mitch McConnell can get it too. He will toss him to the side so quick because he's not smart. He's so he's not smart because a smart person knows that they need allies. Mm-hmm. You need allies. He lost Kelly, who I don't like for the record, but Trump lost Kelly because of and not Kelly for that reason. Who's the general that he just lost? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so because of his stance about pulling the troops out,
right
now you're gonna turn around and say you're not pulling the troops out. You lost, and that's not the only cabinet person that he lost based on that reckless, announcement, proclamation.
And this should show the American people that we have an incompetent man in the office that's heading. Yeah. You're right. He left, and then now they made a complete turnabout.
Right.
He's the same. Trump is the same one who said when Obama said he's going to pull out the troops in 15 months. You can't telegraph things. That's stupid. I wouldn't do nothing like that. And what he's done is the stupidest thing. Now the country looks like a fool. Your allies said, "What the hell's going on?"
Right.
It's like, is anybody home there? Who's running this joint here?
Yeah. It's something, and I'll be glad when this is over. What were the words of Ford right after he pardoned Nixon? The long America's nightmare, whatever, is over.
Right.
When he's gone, we're gonna need to say something like that.
Yeah, but you know what? And still, you got to watch that guy. When he's out of office, if he's not in jail, he got to watch him.
He's not going to jail.
He's a crook and a con man, and he's a communist sympathizer. Russia is a communist country. He's beholden to a communist.
I would love to see him in jail, though.
He should be.
If James Brown had to go to jail, Trump got to go. If James Brown had to go, Trump got to go.
All right.
Man, and so shifting a little bit of local news. Mayor Pugh, did you vote for Mayor Pugh?
I voted for Mayor Pugh. Okay. Hello, Catherine.
And Mayor Pugh says that New Orleans police superintendent to become Baltimore's acting commissioner. Finding a commissioner has been something that I did not expect to be such a daunting job to fill. Is it me? Is it me? Why is this job so daunting?
They said how many murders did y'all have? 300. And
they said no. 13 of them was from 2017. We only had 296. Those people got shot last year. Crazy.
I think that the last gentleman that was going for the job got a raw deal from the city officials.
Why you say that?
They kept picking and prying and trying to find.
They said too much stuff was redacted,
and the stuff that was redacted was, they said, was personal information.
Personal, like what?
Like social security numbers, addresses, sister's address, mother's address, children's social security. I mean,
they don't need that stuff. You're
personal stuff. You know what I mean? And they had all of his records from his employment from years in the police department, and his record, and that's what y'all need to know about. And he said he paid his taxes, which y'all forgot to ask the other guy. And
so maybe maybe Brandon Scott and some of the other folks are saying we got it wrong with the first guy, the other guy. We don't want to get this wrong, so now we really give me. I need to see this. Yeah. I need to see that. I need to know this. What's that right there? You know what I mean?
He's gonna get in. New Orleans is gonna have smooth sailing because they already realized that it was like crabs in a basket. All right, let's slow down.
Yeah.
And this is a hard job. Okay,
No
you
doubt.
can't be putting all this. I mean, I'm gonna tell you what I did. Get the information. This is the other guy said I've had job interviews before. This is not this difficult. It's what you said from the beginning. It ain't that difficult to hire somebody to be the chief of police.
Right.
You know, they were just digging in because the last guy,
Especially if you're in charge, if you've done this already.
yes, and he's already a police chief.
Yeah.
You know, in a city bigger than Baltimore.
Right.
Didn't have as many murders as we've had. You know.
Which is probably good.
Yeah. Well.
Which is probably good. They're like,
Yeah.
what? They ain't had no murders over there. Y'all don't know about no murders.
And see, and then when he said he wasn't coming back because his son was sick, and I understand that, I knew then that this is over because
You talking about before they made the announcement when they were supposed to have the hearing, and he said,
he said, my son's more important. I'm not. That's
Absolutely.
Right. Because I mean, I know about people being in the hospital being sick. There's nothing I can do but just sit there, you know. So he could have been here and taking care of business, but he said, "No, I'd rather be there than even dealing with these crazy people here."
yeah, but he gave it a shot first.
Yes, yeah, he did.
Because he came here a few times.
He did. And then he said, it's not this difficult to hire somebody. So this guy that they're bringing in from New Orleans, I think that Harrison, he's going to have a smoother sail because they're going to back down a little bit because they're going to realize that, I guess we were a little crazy there, you know.
You know, maybe we offered him a chicken box. Didn't know what it was. Yeah, I got you. So he's coming in as a new pick. And Pugh said in a statement, he will bring not only significant and relevant experience to addressing the challenges of Baltimore, but the insight and the sensitivity needed to reestablish essential trust and confidence of the citizens in their police officers. Sounds good.
Yeah, I like that.
Sounds good.
And then I guess they can say, the other guy, they say, well, listen, if you can't handle the heat, then you need to leave.
Okay, that's another way of looking at it.
You know,
That's
we're
that's
coming hard now.
that's another
This is
way
a
of
big
looking at
city. We wild around here.
So you got your guy Jack Young
Yeah.
sent the mayor a letter requesting background materials, including his resume, civil and criminal cases Harrison was party to, and affirmation Harris filed required
tax
returns, personnel files, and a copy of all investigation reports.
That's fine.
That is fine.
That's fine. And this is the other guy gave you the same thing, you know, but I guess that
She withheld. I think she withheld like the tax stuff though. And so she just said that he said he filed it. So I was leaning more towards there was going to be some tax issues, and he said they ain't take my word for it. Like in Texas, they take our word for it. Over here, they want to actually see it. Nah, I'm good. Fort Worth. Don't clean out my office just yet.
yeah, but I think a guy coming from New Orleans is probably better because that's a rough town, and you know,
much rougher than Fort Worth.
Right.
If you got to go somewhere, I'd rather go to Fort Worth than New Orleans.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everything ain't like it was on Girls Trip. You know what I mean? It's it can get really real down there.
Yeah.
So you know, it was ironic though because she's claiming that this was one of her first picks.
Right. It's an initial.
It was one of her first picks. So he's a lifelong officer, lifelong cop, rose through the ranks. You know what I mean? Started from the bottom. 1991, good year. Became a police officer, patrol officer, and he worked his way up. Since 2014, he's been running things over there. 2014. So
why was 1991 a good year?
Huh?
Why was 1991 a good year?
1991 was a good year because I realized in 1991 that I realized what my life's mission was.
Whoa.
But I didn't realize that till 91. Yeah. I never told you that.
No.
We
I
had
know you graduated in 1991.
Right. That's what you thought I was saying.
Yeah.
We had a conversation in you guys' bedroom in 91. And, you know, it's one of those, what are you going to do you need to do something conversations.
Right.
Right? You're going to go to the Army, you go this place, that place. You need to figure out what you want to do. What do you want to do? So that's pressure right there. And he's like, what do you want to do? So I was like, okay. It wasn't that question wasn't a yes or no question. It was kind of a give us something, give us an answer question. And it was hot. And I felt like the heat was on. And I didn't really have an answer. I wasn't expecting. I like to be prepared and know I'm going to be questioned, so I can go through my mind. Here's the questions that they're probably going to ask. Let me prepare my answers. That's how I like to do. But I wasn't prepared for this conversation, and even if I had prepared, I would not have been prepared for this level of interrogation. Mm-hmm. And I said, do you know what I said?
No.
Because I tried not to answer the question. And you kept, no. It was like first 48. You're like, no. What do you want to do? Whatever it is, what you want to do? What you want to do? What is it? Tell me, what is it? So I said, you know what I said?
No.
I said, fine. I want to be a rapper.
Okay.
And it got silent just like right there. And you said, well, I mean, that's cool, but what else you want to do? That's it. That's what I want to do. And you were talking about some other options. You try this, try that, something you can fall back on. I said, no. I'm not trying to set myself up for failure. I'm going to be successful doing it.
Well, I think I probably talked about, then you need to know the business.
Yes, that is what you said.
The business aspect of that.
I don't focus on all that kind of stuff.
Those are the ones making the money.
I'm trying to make music.
I said, they'd be taking advantage of you if you don't know the business.
And you know what happened after that? You guys went out and got me this classic book, which is All You Need to Know About the Music Business.
Yeah, I remember
that book?
Yeah.
And so that's a famous book. And I've read that book many times over. But of course things have changed since then. But the concepts are the same. Mm-hmm. Concepts are the same. So thank you for the book.
The concepts are still the same. Beat the artist.
Oh my God!
Exploit him as long as possible.
Yeah. That has not changed. They still do that. And I learned from reading the book, because they tell you about contract structures and the way things are set up. And in the book, the one thing I don't like about the book is that they basically tell you you're going to get screwed over at first. If you make it through the first 5 albums, then you can really make the big bucks. They say like Michael Jackson. He's making it big, but you got to have the rough contracts first. You got to get screwed over first.
You got to get the New Edition contract.
Right.
That first contract with New Edition had.
Yeah, so I was like, wow, this is, so that's what it was. All right, but thank you. As always, we're going to get ready and listen to the foolishness from the Trump
machine.
Yeah.
The Trump machine.
The Trump machine. Yeah.
All right.
So we'll be back next week.
Next week.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Dad.